The topic I am going to discuss today, that is Meghalaya. Right? Today we will discuss about Meghalaya. So, you know Meghalaya for what? For what do you know Meghalaya? Yes, tell me. Nobody knows? Meghalaya has the wettest place of the world. Very simple.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So this is very simple. Right? So this is basically we can say the map of the state overall. This is rough sketch because I am not. So it is somewhat like this. This is the rough sketch of the map, right? So this state is called Meghalaya. Meghalaya is bounded on the northern side by Assam and eastern side also by Assam, and on the southern side it is you can say bordered by Bangladesh. It is bordered by Bangladesh. So this side also, some part of the state is bordered by Assam and some part of the state is bordered by, we can say, Bangladesh also, right? So it is like this, we can say Assam. This part is Bangladesh, this part is, we can say, Assam, and the entire this eastern part is bordered by the Assam, and southern part is Bangladesh. Only one state of India shares border with Meghalaya. This is an important question, can be asked to you, right? You can check the map also.
Sir, repeat karna, only one state.
Only one state of India shares the border with this Meghalaya. Right? Only one state of India shares border with Meghalaya. Right? Shares border with Meghalaya. Right? Only one state. Right? And there is you can say one more state of India which has its border common with only one state. Which is that state? Can you name that state?
Arunachal Pradesh.
No. States of India. Yes. States of India sharing border with only one state. With only one state. So, right? With only one state, right? So these are the, we can say, state of Meghalaya, which is sharing its border with only one state, and that is called Assam, right? And then the state of Sikkim, which shares its border with only one state, that is the West Bengal, right? So these are two very small facts, but these can be asked in your examination, right? So quite simple facts. So as far as the name of Meghalaya is concerned, Meghalaya is the combination of two words, right? So one is Meg, second is Alya. Meg plus Alya, right? Meg means clouds. Alya means home. It is home of clouds, right? Meg and Alya, right? So it means Meg means, you can say, clouds, and Alya means home. So that is why Meghalaya is called home of clouds, right? So Meg, clouds, and Alya means home. So that is why Meghalaya is home of clouds, right? is home of clouds. So this is the next thing is that Meghalaya is one of the 28 states of India. You know, Meghalaya is one of the 28 states of India, and it is a northeastern state, right? It is a northeastern state of India, right? It is a northeastern state of India, right? So, as a northeastern state, Meghalaya, you can see, came into existence, right? So, first thing is that Meghalaya is north to the Meghalaya is north to the Tropic of Cancer, right, which is known as Kark Rekha in Punjabi or Hindi. Meghalaya is north to the Tropic of Cancer. Right? So bear this in mind, right? So one thing is that, and second point is that, Meghalaya came into existence. Meghalaya as a state came into existence as Meghalaya was formed a state. Meghalaya was formed a state in 1972. In 1972, right? And before being, right, 1972, from by separating territory from the state of Assam, by separating territory from the state of Assam, right? So by separating territory from the state of Assam, right? And before that, in 1970, Meghalaya was made an autonomous state, within the state of Assam. In the state of Assam, right? And Meghalaya is the only state of India to enjoy this status, right? Meghalaya is the only state of India, to enjoy this status, right? To enjoy this status, to have this status, you can write also. Meghalaya is the only state of India to have this status, we can say, right? This status. So this is there simply, right? So during the British period, it was known as during the British period or British days, we can say, right? It was known as Scotland of the East. It was known as Scotland of the East. So this was the name given to it during the British period. Was known as Scotland of East, right? So these are the simple facts, small facts, and apart from that, we can say that Meghalaya has its own high court, we can say, its own high court. Yes. So at present, how many high courts are there? At present, there are 25 high courts on India. This question is important. 25 high courts of India, right? And out of the 8 northeastern states, right? Including Sikkim. That is why the number is 8, including Sikkim, right? Only 5 states are there. Only 5 states have their high courts. Right? Only 5 states have their high courts. Only 5 states have their high courts, right? The 5 states which are having their high courts are the 5 states which are having their high courts are, one is Assam, right? Which was having their high courts are Assam. Second is, we can say, Sikkim, right? Sikkim. And third is, we can say, Manipur. Right? Third is Manipur. And fourth is, we can say, Meghalaya. Right? And the fifth is, we can say, Tripura. So these are the 5 states of Northeast which are having their high courts, right? And the 3 states which don't have their high courts are, right? So such type of question can be asked. The 3 states, those don't have their high courts are, right? So one is Arunachal Pradesh. Second is Nagaland, and third is Mizoram. Right? So these are the 3 states which don't have their high courts, right? So Mizoram, right? So these are the 3 states which still don't have their high courts, right? So this is an important fact. You should bear this in mind for your examination purpose, right? So like we can say, right? So UPSC or PPSC can ask this question: which of the following statements? Which of the following statements above about Meghalaya are correct? Right? So the statements can be asked. Number 1, right? Number 1, among the northeastern states of India, Meghalaya shares border with Assam only. So one statement is this: Meghalaya shares border with, we can say, Assam only. Right? This is one. Second statement can be that Tropic of Cancer runs through the state. And Tropic of Cancer runs through the state. Right? Runs through the state. And third, Meghalaya remained a union territory before it was elevated to statehood in 1972. Right? So Meghalaya remained a union territory before it was elevated to statehood in 1972. Right? And the fourth statement can be the Meghalaya has its high court. Meghalaya has its high court. So now codes can be there, right? Number one is one only statement, right? Number two, there can be, you can say, one and three, it can be there, and number three, it can be there, one and four, right? One and four, and number four can be there, two, three, and four, right? So this is your, this can be asked, right? So this can be asked, right? So this is right. So now see in this this type of question is quite simple question, but if you don't have the proper knowledge, right? If you have not studied about Meghalaya properly, you may take the wrong answer there, right? So I think the students may commit mistake here if they have not observed the map properly. Student may commit mistake here, Tropic of Cancer runs through the state if they have not observed the map properly, right? So Meghalaya remain UT students may commit the mistake here also, right? Big chance is there. Meghalaya has its high court because uh, there are 28 states at present, right? And there are 28 states and we can say 9 union territories, and out of which only 25 states have their you can say high courts, and the rest of the states or union territories have been attached with the high courts of the other states, right? So that is why chances are there that you may commit mistake here also. So all the statements are little bit puzzling statements. So a student can commit mistake here, though the question is very simple, right? And every layman should know about it. Okay, so this is there. So such type of questions can be asked to you, right? So this was about we can say this high courts of the state, right? So now let us move little next, right? Bit next. So as far as the state is concerned, the capital is Shillong, and the official language of the state is, right? Official language of the state is what? Does anybody know? English. English is the official language of the state, right? English is the official language of the state, right? And one more important thing there is that Meghalaya is chiefly inhabited by, which is an important point here. Meghalaya is chiefly inhabited by people belonging to three ethnic groups. All right, belonging to three ethnic groups. One is we can say Garo, second is Khasiya, and third is Gentis. Right, Garo, Khasi, and Gentis. Right, Genti, you can say. Right, these are the three types of people who are living there in the state, Garo, Khasi, and Genti. Right. So as far as according to 2011 census, Garos constitute about 30.5% of the total population of the state, right? And Khasis constitute about 34% population of the state, total population of the state, right? And we can say, as far as the Jaintia are concerned, right? So Jaintia constitute about, we can say, 18.5% of the total population of the state, right? So it means you can say approximately 83% population of the state is constituted by these three tribal communities, right? So apart from that, there are the Bengalis also, there are Nepalese also, right? There are Kukis also, there are the Hejong people also, right? Hejong are Hindus, right? And the major religion which is followed in the state of Meghalaya, that is the Christianity. So Christianity is the major religion which is followed in the state of Meghalaya, right? Which is followed in the state of Meghalaya, right? Christianity is the major religion, we can say, right? So more than 75% of population uh, f- uh, is following the Christian religion, right? And Hindu is the largest minority religion in the state of Meghalaya. Hinduism is the largest minority religion in the state of Meghalaya, right? So you should bear this in mind. Hinduism is the largest majority religion, largest minority religion in the state of Meghalaya. You should bear this in mind. So this is about the Arokhasis Chantia. But there is one similarity in these three, you can say, tribal groups. There is one similarity in these three tribal groups. The similarity between these three tribal groups that we can say we can say so the the three major ethnic groups, right? Ethnic tribes, we can say, of Meghalaya, separate ethnic tribes of Meghalaya, right? Follow the practice of we can say, right, matrilineal system. So this is the practice which is followed by the all the three major ethnic groups of Meghalaya, that is Garos, Khasis, and Jaintias, right? So matrilineal system. Two systems are there. One is the patrilineal and second is the matrilineal system, right? So by the matrilineal system, we can say that by the meaning of the matrilineal, what is the matrilineal system? We can say that a system is said to be matrilineal. A system is family system is said to be matrilineal, right? Matrilineal if the lineage and inheritance of property, if the lineage and inheritance of right inheritance of family are traced through are traced through, right, traced through women, right? So that society is called the matrilineal society, right? As you see in our societies, right, in our societies, the family runs with the name of the father, right? And father is the head of the family, and after father, right, his son, you can say, inherits the you can say, right, family that is there, right? So but in Meghalayan states, it is in the name of the mother, right? And apart from that, there is one more interesting factor, you can say, the youngest daughter in the family, the youngest daughter in the family, right, in the family, inherits inherit the health inherits the wealth of the family, inherits the wealth, and and she takes care of her parents, takes care of her parents, of her parents, right, of her parents, right? So and the youngest system and the youngest son-in-law, right, is called the nokram of the okay, nokram of the father of his wife, right? Of the father of his wife means his father-in-law, nokram of his father-in-law. right? Knockdown of his father-in-law. This is the unique characteristic of this of Meghalayan society, we can say, and almost all the three, you can say, tribal groups, right, have the you can say similar feature, right? All the three tribal societies in Meghalaya, Garo, Khasis, and Jaintiyas have the similar feature, right? And apart from that, there is one more important, interesting fact which is that okay, if the father-in-law, right, if the okay, if father-in-law dies, right, then the husband of the youngest daughter, youngest daughter, right, marries his mother-in-law also, right, marries his mother-in-law also, right. So in that case, the person will become the husband of daughter as well as the mother also, right, husband of his sister-in-law, sorry, his mother-in-law and her daughter, right. So this is a unique characteristic of this society, right, and these things are common among all the three groups. So that is why mainly matrilineal society, right, is the common characteristics of Karo, Khasi, and Jaintia groups. So that is why, right, this has a unique and different characteristics this society, we can say, is having. Is it okay? Clear up to this point, Vita?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
yes, sir.
Okay, okay. So now we will come on the geography of the state, right? As we discussed in the previous lecture also about the Manipur also, right? So I think that is more effective, now that is more useful for you also. So basically the state can be divided into, we can say, the three broad, you can say, right, groups, right? So one is this, second is this, and third is this, right? So three broad regions, right? So one region is that of the Garo Hills region. This is the Garo Hills region. This is one region, right? And the another region is that of the Khasi Hills region. And the third region is the Jaintiyas, right? Jaintia Hill region. So mainly these are the three broad categories or broad groups of the state, right? Because in the state there are you can say three types of the hills, right? So basically we can say that in the state there we can see the things like right, one is there are the hills also in the state. There are the hills in the state of Meghalaya, right? Apart from that, there are apart from that, there are, we can say, the valleys also, hills, valleys, and there are the highland plateaus also. Highland plateaus also means a tableland, right? Highland plateaus also, right? Plateaus also, plateaus also, right? So in Meghalaya, there are these three features mainly. And if we talk about the hills, there are the three broad hill ranges, hills categories. So three broad, we, we can say, the hill forms, right? Categories, ranges of hills. One is the Garos, second is the Khasis, right? Khasis, and third is, we can say, Jaintiyas. Garos, Khasis, and Jaintiyas, right? So these are the three hills which are found here, three hill regions: Garo Hill region, Khasi Hill region, and Jaintiyas Hill region. These are the three hill regions which are found there, we can see, right? So among these three hill regions, right, You can say this Khasi Hill region is the highest one, right? And you can say Gentius is the second highest one, right? And Garos is the third highest one, right? Garos is the third highest one, means the lowest one among the three, right? The lowest one among the three, right? It means the middle part of the Meghalaya, right? Height of the middle part of the Meghalaya is, you can say, the highest, right? And the eastern part is second highest in the middle, and the third part, Garos, is the lowest, right? Is the lowest, that is the, right? So the highest point in Khasi Hills, the highest point in Khasi Hills is we can say Shillong Peak, right? So Shillong Peak is the highest point in Khasi Hills. And next hai, right? So the highest point in Jaintia Hills, the highest point in Jaintia Hills is, we can say, okay, Lum, L-U-M, Lum, right? Meringshi, M-V, M-A-R-Y-N-G, right? So Meringshi, K-S-I-H, Meringshi, right? So this is the highest point in Jaintia Hills, right? And the highest point in Garo Hills, the highest point in Garo Hills is, we can say, that is the Nokrek Peak, right? That is the highest point in Garo Hills. So you must bear this in mind also. So the highest point in Meghalaya is in the Khasi Hills, that is the Shillong Peak, right? And the highest point in Jaintia Hill region, that is this, right? Lum Meringshi, that is this. And the highest point in Garo Hills is the Nokrek Peak. So these are the three highest points in the different three regions of the state, right? In the different regions of the state. So that is the, right? So that is there, we can say, right? So on the basis, so now let us move further onto the, you can say, mineral wealth or the natural resources of the state, right? So let us move further to that, right? Mineral wealth or the natural resources of the state, right? So if we talk about, we can say, reserves, mineral reserves of the state, or reserves of natural resources, right? So that is there. So as far as the reserves of natural resources are concerned, so the state of Meghalaya has the reserves of mainly, right? Mainly, that is coal, right? Coal, rich in coal also, right? So this is the one point. And second thing is, right, after coal, Meghalaya is, we can say, rich in limestone. Limestone is found there, right? I'm just discussing about these things. Limestone is found there. And after limestone, right, there is another, which is the uranium, is also found there. Uranium, it has uranium reserves also. And the next, which is here, that is, we can say, sillimanite, right? Sillimanite is there. And after that, there is quartz also, which is found there. Though other minerals are also there, but I am talking about the comparatively common, right, minerals. So quartz is there. Quartz is there, right? So beta, this is important to know. Sometimes in examination, you can be asked the question, because you know there are three types of rocks. Everybody knows about it. Three types of rocks, right? One type of rocks is called the sedimentary rocks, right? Sedimentary rocks. I think everybody knows about this, right? And second type of rock is called the igneous rock.
Metamorph.
Igneous rock, right? Igneous rock. Igneous rocks again. And the third type of rocks are called the metamorphic rocks. Right? Third type of rocks are called the metamorphic rocks. Right? Metamorphic rocks. So these are the three types of rocks. I think everybody knows about this. Right? So as far as the let me tell that tell me that which among the three rocks, sedimentary, igneous, and metamorphic rocks, is called the primary rock? Which
Sedimentary.
among sedimentary? Okay, sedimentary is the primary rock. Okay, which among the three rocks, three types of rocks, is the primary one? Igneous rock. Okay, igneous. Whose answer is igneous? Hello. Whose answer is this? Simranjit.
No, sir.
Acha, Kamal's answer is this. Okay. Yes, beta. It is true that we can say igneous rocks are the primary rocks, right? Because see, I'm just telling you, beta. Sedimentary rocks are made from the, you can say, fossil remains of the living elements on the earth, right? Is it there? These are made of the fossil remains.
Yes, sir. Sir, their formation is of different kind.
Fossil remains, right? So it is of the fossil remains, right? Made of the fossil remains. And the igneous rocks are made from the melting of a, right, molten material. We can solidification of molten material when it takes place, right? Solidification of a molten material below the earth. Molten material below the earth, right? So molten material, you can write this on the solidification of the molten material. So this is the igneous rock, right? And a metamorphic rock is formed by the, you can say, metamorphism, right? Is formed by the metamorphism, right? Metamorphism of sedimentary and igneous rocks. Igneous rocks, right? Sedimentary and igneous rocks under very high temperature and pressure conditions, right? Very high temperature and pressure conditions. So उनका मेटामॉर्फिज्म होता है, उनकी केमिकल प्रॉपर्टीज में चेंज आ जाती है ड्यू टू दैट, राइट? सो ये तीन किस्म की रॉक्स होती हैं, सेडिमेंट्री, इग्नियस एंड मेटामॉर्फिक रॉक्स, राइट? सो ये तीन किस्म की रॉक्स होती हैं, राइट? एंड ये जो तीन किस्म की रॉक्स हैं, जस्ट एक सेकेंड होगा आपका, ये जो तीन किस्म की रॉक्स हैं, एक रॉक में ये मान लेता हूँ, दूसरी रॉक में ये मान लेता हूँ, राइट? दूसरी रॉक में ये ले लेता हूँ, राइट? एंड तीसरी किस्म की रॉक है जो, वो मैं सपोज ये ले लेता हूँ, तीसरी किस्म की रॉक में इसको ले लेता हूँ। सो यहाँ मैं लिखूंगा बेटा आई मीन्स दिस इज द इग्नियस रॉक, एंड यहाँ मैं लिखूंगा बेटा यू कैन से एस मीन्स दिस इज सेडिमेंट्री रॉक, राइट? और यहाँ मैं लिखूंगा you can say M means metamorphic rock, metamorphic. So beta, what happens there, right? Igneous rocks, क्या होता है? There happens the weathering of the igneous rocks, right? So beta igneous rocks की weathering होती है, right? So we can say that the weathering of igneous rocks take place, right? So weathering of igneous rocks, right, leads to the, we can say, formation of, right? So weathering of igneous rocks, we can say, leads to the formation of this, you can say, sedimentary rocks, ठीक है? जब इनकी weathering होती है, erosion होती है, right? So उससे क्या होता है? Sedimentary rocks बनती हैं, right? Okay, so then beta, you can say, and this is there, right? And beta, you can say melting of this, right? So we can say melting of the sedimentary rocks under high temperature conditions leads to the formation of the igneous rocks also, right? Leads to the formation of the igneous rocks also, right? And similarly, beta, metamorphism of sedimentary rocks under under the high temperature and pressure conditions, right? So metamorphism of sedimentary rocks under high temperature and pressure conditions leads to the formation of a metamorphic rock, right? And similarly, beta, we can say that this, we can say, weathering of this metamorphic rocks, right, leads to the formation of the sedimentary rock also, right? Sedimentary rock also. Is it clear? Right? And similarly, beta, here you can see, right? So this, we can say, this melting of the this metamorphic rocks, right? And their solidification becomes the igneous rock, right? And similarly, beta, you can say this part, we can say that that metamorphism of the igneous rocks takes place, right? And that leads to the formation of the this metamorphic rocks, right? And this is known as the rock cycle, right? कैसे एक rock दूसरी rock का supporting material बनती है, right? This is known as the rock cycle. Okay, how one rock becomes the source material for the other rock, right? So इनको हम कहते हैं rock cycle. Is it okay? Is it clear, beta?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. ये पहली बार ही पढ़ा सर, बहुत बढ़िया लग गया. हाँ जी.
Okay. So the next thing is that, beta, the next thing is that why you can say I have diverted you towards this, because this was important, because sometimes in the examination this can be asked that, okay, what type of rock is coal, right? Coal कौन सी किस्म की rock होती है? Such type of question can be asked, right? You must remember, beta, that coal is a sedimentary rock, right? Coal is a sedimentary rock, right? जो भी fossil remains होती है, जब उनकी you can say, right, उनकी sedimentary rocks बनती हैं, right? और जब वो एक pressure के नीचे compress होते रहते हैं, तो बहुत अरसे के बाद they are converted into the fossil fuels, right? Coal, etc., or petroleum reserves, etc., right? Natural gas. So this is there, right? And as far as the limestone is concerned, right? Limestone is also a sedimentary rock, right? Limestone is also a sedimentary rock. You should be at this in mind, right? And as far as the uranium is concerned, right? Uranium usually occurs in two types of settings. You should note it. Uranium occurs in two types of settings, right? So what are the two types of settings in which uranium occurs? It occurs in two types of setting, right? One is we can say uranium occurs in the cool setting, and the second is you can say uranium occurs in the we can say hot settings, hot settings, right? Hot settings. Okay. So when uranium occurs in the cool settings, right? So then its a source is the sedimentary rock. Its a source is sedimentary rock. So then its source becomes the sedimentary rock, right? And when it occurs in the hot settings, then its source becomes, we can say, igneous rock. Igneous rock. So you should be in it. So it is found in the sedimentary rocks as well as in the granitic rocks also. Granite is a igneous rock, right? So because this is important. So uranium is found in, we can say, sedimentary as well as the igneous rocks, right? Sedimentary as well as igneous rocks. Sedimentary as well as the igneous rocks also. So uranium is found in this type of a setting, right? As well as igneous rocks also. So it is found in this type of settings. This is about the uranium. And then next to uranium, we have mentioned here, you can say sillimanite, right? So as far as the sillimanite is concerned, right? Sillimanite, it is an igneous rock, sorry, metamorphic rock. It is a metamorphic rock जो metamorphism से बनती है, right? जो metamorphism में बनती है. And then as far as the quartz is concerned, quartz is found in all three types of rocks. In all three types of rocks, ये तीनों में मिलता है. तो ये एक थोड़ा सा हमने साइड पे जाके किया है काम, बट ये काम यूजुअली छूट जाता है, राइट? सो आज यहाँ क्योंकि मैं ये करवा रहा था, मेरे नोटिस में आया, इसलिए मैंने यहाँ इसको ले लिया है. सो ठीक है, चलते चलते ये भी हो गया हमारा, राइट? रॉक्स का हो गया है. सो दैट इज इम्पोर्टेंट. Okay, so this is about the reserves which are found there, we can say, right, in this region, right? So next is, so the next is there, we can say, right? So this is there, right? So now let us move on to the next part of the discussion, right? So as far as this next part of the discussion is concerned, right, so in this primarily now we will talk about the, you can say, climate or the rainfall climate, rainfall बात करते हैं यहाँ, क्योंकि it is famous for the rainfall, right? So it is an important tourist destination also because of these things, right? So rainfall, right? So as far as this you can see the rainfall is concerned, as far as this rainfall is concerned, just a second, let me, someone's call is there. So this is there. So as far as the rainfall is concerned, Meghalaya is known as the wettest place in the world. Wettest place in the world. Wettest place in the world, right? So as far as there are two important places in this state, right? So one place is known as the Cherrapunji. You must have heard about that, Cherrapunji. Have you heard about this name?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
and the second is Mohsin Ram.
Mohsin Ram. Yes, sir.
Mohsin Ram is a village near Cherrapunji, right? Where the highest rainfall in a single day was recorded, right? So, and Cherrapunji, at Cherrapunji was recorded the highest rainfall in a single month so far. That is the record, right? So this is the right. So you can say today, if the general question is asked that which of the following is the wettest place of the world, if both the options are there, Cherrapunji and Mohsin Ram, then you have to take Mohsin Ram, not Cherrapunji, right? So this is the right. So this Cherrapunji is known by another name also. Cherrapunji is known by another name also. That another name is called Sohra. S-O-H-R, Sohra, right? So in examination, Sohra can also be written. If there is Sohra, don't think that it is something else and वहाँ none of these मत कर देना. Sohra means Cherrapunji. ठीक है, इसी का नेम है. Basically, Sohra name क्यों बना? Because there is a very unique characteristic of Meghalayan state, right? There is a unique characteristic, of Meghalaya state. Meghalaya state that there you will find bridges, root bridges built over the streams, sometimes even more than 250-meter long root bridges are found, right? And these root bridges are sustainable, environmentally friendly, right? Environmentally friendly, and these are strong also, durable also, sustainable also, right? So मतलब इतने स्ट्रांग होते हैं कि समटाइम्स ये मतलब 40-50% का जो बर्डन है वो एकदम ये कर लेते हैं. These are strong enough, right? So वो कैसे होता है बेटा? जो ये मान लीजिए स्ट्रीम है, राइट? स्ट्रीम है, ये एक स्ट्रीम जा रही है, राइट? इस स्ट्रीम के बेटा दोनों बैंक्स के ऊपर जो ट्रीज हैं, लेट्स सपोज एक ट्री इस बैंक के ऊपर है और दूसरा ट्री इस बैंक के ऊपर है, राइट? इनकी रूट्स बेटा जब ग्रो करती है, राइट? सो इनकी रूट्स को वो ज्वाइन कर देती है, राइट? इनकी रूट्स को ज्वाइन करके और ये ब्रिज बन जाता है, राइट? और फिर रूट्स के थ्रू उस ब्रिज के ऊपर से फिर वो वॉक करते हैं, मूव करते हैं, राइट? लेट मी शो यू वन पिक्चर आल्सो that will make you more clear about this, right? Let me show you one picture, please. Just a second. Just a second. Is my desktop visible to you?
Yes,
Is it
sir.
visible? Is it visible? So beta, this is the root bridge, right? So this root bridge they use for the crossing of the rivers, crossing of the streams, right? And sometimes at some places you will see the, you can say, double decker root bridge also. एक नीचे है एक ऊपर बना हुआ है ऐसे. Double decker root bridges also can be seen. Okay, so this is a unique characteristic of this state. Okay, so so
Yes,
bear
sir.
this in mind, right? So bear this in mind. So this is a unique characteristic of this state, right? So now let us move on to our professional work again. So beta, these root bridges, right? So these root bridges are sometimes, let me complete it first. Sometimes these sometimes there, sometimes we can say double decker root bridges are also formed, right? Double decker root bridges are also formed near Cherrapunji. You can find the double decker root bridges also. Double decker root bridges are also formed. Root bridges are also formed, right? So these double decker root bridges, usually the name of these root bridges which is there, that is the Jenkins-Zari, Jenkins-Zari, Jenkins-Zari. That is the name of these root bridges, living root bridges, right? Local name of the living root bridges, that is the Jenkins-Zari, right? And sometimes, as I have told you, that you may come across with that double decker root bridges also. Near Cherrapunji, there is one double decker root bridge, right? And the double decker root bridges in their language are called Sohra, right? Because there is one double decker root bridge near Cherrapunji, that is why it is called Sohra, right? Another name of Cherrapunji has become Sohra also. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
So Sohra, right? And the another is the Mosin-Ram, you can say, right? And as far as the, you can say, temperature or climate is concerned, right? So there is normally, you can say, temperate type of climate in the region, right? So there is normally temperate climate in the region. So temperate climate hai, normally temperate climate in this region, and temperate climate we will discuss in some later chapters, right? Temperate climate in this region. As far as the rainfall is concerned, right, it is approximately 12,000 millimeter, right, or 470 inches per year, right? 470 inches per year, right? This is there. But yes, and as far as the beta region is concerned, right? So this region is the coldest region. Khasi Hill region is the coldest region, right? Coldest region because it is at the much higher height, you can say, right? Much higher height. So that is why they, right? And whereas the Garo region is comparatively warmer region in the Assam, in the Meghalaya state, right? So Garo region is comparatively warmer, right? Garo region is comparatively warmer in the state. Comparatively warmer region in the state. Comparatively warmer region in the state due to the low-lying hills in the region. due to the low-lying hills there in the region, right? Because वहाँ low-lying hills हैं, so that is why वहाँ थोड़ी सी गर्मी रहती है, right? Warmer है, right? And more than 70% area of the state is forested, right? More than 70% area of the state is forested, right? So more than 70% area of state of the state is forested, right? So वहाँ forest मिलते हैं, more than 70% area में वहाँ forest मिलते हैं, right? And important biosphere reserves in the state are important biosphere reserves in the state. Reserves in the state are स्टेट में कौन से इंपॉर्टेंट बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व्स पाए जाते हैं, राइट? इन द स्टेट आर नंबर 1 नोक्रेक बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व, नोक्रेक बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व, नोक्रेक बायोस्फीयर रिजर्व, दैट इज नंबर 1. एंड नंबर 2 है राइट बालपक्कम नेशनल पार्क, बालपक्कम नेशनल पार्क, this is there, Balpakram National Park is there, right? So these are very rich in biodiversity. You should bear it in mind. These are very rich in biodiversity, right? So this is found in the West Garo Hills, right? West Garo Hills. This is found there, right? And as far as this Balpakram is concerned, this is found in the South Garo region. This is found in the South Garo region. ये वहाँ मिलता है South Garo region में, right? So then there is about the wildlife sanctuaries. Wildlife sanctuaries in the state. Wildlife sanctuary, right? So as far as the wildlife sanctuaries in the state are concerned, right? One is we can say Nongilam Wildlife Sanctuary, NONGHY, right? LLEM, Nongilam Wildlife Sanctuary, right? And second is Wildlife Sanctuary. And second is we can say Sidhu Sanctuary. Sidhu Sanctuary. And the third one is we can say that is a Bhagmara Sanctuary. Bhagmara Sanctuary. So these are the three important sanctuaries, though many other are there in the state, right? So I have told you that more than 70% area of the state is forested, right? In these forests we can say two important species of trees are found. One is sal and the second is teak. So these are the two important species of trees which are found here. Sal and teak, right? So these are two important species of trees which are found here, sal and teak, in Meghalaya forest, right? And you can say Sidhu, as I have told you here, Sidhu, one is Sidhu, right? So we can say limestone caves, which are Sidhu caves, means in Sidhu region, right? Which are called Sidhu caves, right? Are home to the nations, right? Home to the nations, you can say rare bat species. So यहाँ हमें कुछ rare bat species मिलती हैं country की, जो Sidhu caves हैं. See, this is only thing is that right, very simple question can be asked that Sidhu caves are located in, right? Sidhu caves are located in. यहाँ उसने हमें choice दे दी, right? One is Odisha, right? And second is Jharkhand, right? Second is Jharkhand. Suppose we have been given these choices, right? And third choice is Meghalaya. And fourth choice can be given, you can say, Mizoram, right? So हमें ये चार choices दे दी उसने. So Sidhu caves का बहुत simple question है ना? जिसने कभी नहीं पढ़ा उसके लिए बहुत मुश्किल है, ठीक है? और अदरवाइज बहुत सिंपल क्वेश्चन है ना? जिसने पढ़ा है वो कहेंगे कि ये कोई पीसीएस के लेवल का ये क्वेश्चन था कोई, है ना, जो पूछ लिया है ना, मतलब इतना मल के बकवास पेपर सेट किया है ना. और
इस
जिसने
लेक्चर के बाद कहेंगे ना सर कि ये सिंपल
है ना, और जिसने मतलब के पढ़ा हुआ है ना वो कहेंगे कि है ना, मतलब ये तो कुछ भी नहीं है ना. और जिसने मतलब नहीं पढ़ा वो कहेंगे मतलब इतना मतलब मुश्किल पेपर डाल दिए, इतना मुश्किल पेपर डाल दिया. हाँ है ना, मतलब पता नहीं मतलब कहाँ से ये सिद्धू के उठा के लिए आए, है ना. सो ये होता है ना. सो कुछ भी ऐसा नहीं होता कि मुश्किल है या कुछ भी आउट ऑफ द सिलेबस है आपके, ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता, राइट. सो दिस इज अबाउट द Sidhu caves. So Sidhu caves are found there in the state of Meghalaya, right? And these are known because because the rare bat species of India are found in this cave, right? In this region, in these caves, right? And next है जो largest bird, right? Largest bird of the state, right? Largest bird of the state is in the in this state. Of the state होता है कि जैसे वो official होता है, ऐसा नहीं. In the state, right? In the state is a great Indian hornbill, right? So great Indian hornbill is found here, right? So it is right. So one more important thing I would tell, it is a vulnerable species, not endangered, not critically endangered, right? It is a vulnerable species, right? If it is asked to you, it is a vulnerable species, right? So next है कि about a fourth of right, about a fourth of butterfly species in India, butterfly species in India, right? Species in India. Species in India are found in Meghalaya. Okay, so ये भी वहाँ पर पाया जाता है, right? And one more important thing here is that about which the question can be asked. ठीक है, in March 2020, in March 2020, right? 2020, so we can say the world's largest, we can say, right? World's largest, right? So world's largest, you can say a subterranean, world's largest subterranean fish, right? Subterranean fish is found here in Jaintia Hills. Is found here in Jaintia Hills. ठीक है, so world की largest जो subterranean fish है वो यहाँ पर पाई गई है, right? Is found in, we can say, Jaintia Hills here, largest subterranean fish, right? So as far as the subterranean fish is concerned, so these fish usually, subterranean means the fish which live below the earth. Subterranean means which live below the earth. Mostly these live in the caves. So these are the cave fishes, we can see, right? Mostly live below the earth. right? Live below the earth, right? In caves, etc. Caves, etc. ये वो फिश होती हैं जो अर्थ के नीचे केव्स वगैरह में रहती हैं, गुफाओं में रहती हैं, राइट? केव्स etc. राइट? सो देयर इज no reach of light. Yeah, very guess the reach of light is there, right? No reach of light, and therefore primary production lack there, right? Lack there means वहाँ कोई एल्गी वगैरह, कोई फंगस वगैरह या कोई और जो वेजिटेशन है वो नहीं पाई जाती है, right? Primary production lack there. So they have to depend on very limited amount of food. That is why they have to depend on very limited food, right? And therefore their size is restricted, right? Therefore they would not grow larger in size. Therefore they cannot grow larger in size, right? They cannot grow larger in size. इसलिए उनका जो साइज है वो सीमित रहता है, उनका बहुत बड़ा साइज है जो वो नहीं हो पाता, right? They cannot grow larger in size, right? So that is the point which is important here, right? So इनका जो बेटा साइज होता है that is only up to, you can say, few centimeters का इनका साइज होता है, right? Few centimeters या ज्यादा से ज्यादा दो इंच की, 3 इंच की हो सकती है, ज्यादा से ज्यादा ही, right? So but the one which was found here in Meghalaya in March 2020, right? The size of that fish is more than 1 feet. 1 feet. So that is why this is the largest known subterranean fish species in the world, which has been found in Meghalaya in 2020. Right? Bear this in mind. This is an important current question. All right? This is an important current question, you can see. Right? So this has been for Gentia Hills. This lives in caves there. Right? Caves there. Right? And this will...
सर ये लाइन दोबारा बोलना अब, या जो आपने बोली थी.
Okay, right. Yes. So beta, the largest subterranean fish species of the world has been found in Meghalaya in 2020.
Okay, sir.
It lives in caves there. It lives in caves there, right? So it lives in caves there. So this is important. In Gentia Hills region, that is also important, right? And mostly these fish are blind, right? Mostly these fish are blind. So this is important here, right? So bear this in mind. So the next point which we are going to discuss is the next thing which we discuss, right? So that is better. Khasi, next we will come on the language, right? So as far as the language is concerned here, let us come on the language. As far as the language is concerned, Khasi is the largest spoken language. Khasi is the largest spoken language in this region, in Meghalaya, we can say, in Meghalaya, right? Largest spoken language in Meghalaya, followed by Garo, right? PNAR, NAR. So these are some languages which is the largest spoken languages in this state, right? Khasi, Garo, Bana. So beta, now tell me which among these three languages is in the 8th schedule of the constitution?
इनना चो कोई भी नहीं है सर गारो
इनना
कनार ते खासी चो तो कोई नहीं है
Okay, so then the most important point here is that none of the major languages of Meghalaya are recognized under 8th schedule of the constitution. Right? So very important statement here, right? So none of the major languages spoken in Meghalaya are in 8th schedule of the constitution. Right? So ऐसा question पूछ सकते हैं. None of the major languages spoken in Meghalaya, right, is in 8th schedule of the constitution. In 8th schedule of the constitution. So this is important again. So next we can say mainly agrarian society है. This is mainly agrarian society we can say, right? Agrarian society. Okay. So now the next we can say important thing which we will discuss here is that insurgency or some problems in Meghalaya. Right? पहली बात यह है बेटा कि मेघालय का जो सिटी है शिलोंग, दैट इज ए कॉस्मोपॉलिटन सिटी जहाँ डिफरेंट किस्म के लोग रहते हैं. वहाँ सिख भी हैं, क्रिश्चियन भी हैं, बुद्धिस्ट भी हैं, हिंदूज भी हैं. सो डिफरेंट किस्म के लोग रहते हैं. सो एज फार एज द मेघालयन पीपल आर कंसर्न्ड, ओवरऑल Meghalayan people are cool people. They are peace-loving people, right? So वो accommodating है, peace-loving है, cool है, right? So ऐसा वहाँ जो हमें कोई बहुत major ऐसा कोई ethnic violence का रिकॉर्ड हमें वहाँ नहीं मिलते. जैसे हमने मणिपुर की कल बात की थी, कल से पहले हमने असम की बात की थी. राइट. सो वहाँ कुछ ऐसा नहीं है. राइट. सो ओवरऑल जो मेघालयन पीपल है, दे आर कूल पीपल, दे आर पीस लविंग पीपल. राइट. सो बट इवन देन, राइट, डिस्टर्बेंस इन मेघालय, इफ वी टॉक अबाउट दैट डिस्टर्बेंस इन मेघालय, if we talk about that. So the main reason in behind the disturbance in Meghalaya, if we say, is importantly that, right, the main reason behind disturbance in Meghalaya is that Meghalaya is used as a corridor by the immigrants from Bangladesh to India. Meghalaya is used as a corridor by the immigrants from Bangladesh to India. Right. So sometimes many of the illegal immigrants from Bangladesh entered into India through the state of Meghalaya because the paucity of border there, through the state of Meghalaya, and they crossed over to other states like Assam, etc. Right? वहाँ से फिर वो वहाँ चले जाते हैं. So there is one important thing बेटा, कि वहाँ पर अगर हम देखते हैं, वहाँ पर रिसेंट पास्ट में 2-3 ऐसी इंसिडेंट्स नजर आती हैं. एक 2014 में इंसिडेंट्स हमें नजर आई कुछ, राइट. एंड सेकेंड जो हमें कुछ इंसिडेंट्स नजर आई 2018 में, एंड थर्ड जो हमें कुछ इंसिडेंट नजर आई, that was in 2020 recently. That was in 2020. राइट। सो ये जो 2-3 इंसिडेंट्स हैं जो हमें नजर आती हैं, राइट, इन 2020, जो रिसेंट पास्ट में, जिनको हम कोट कर सकते हैं, राइट। सो पहली बात तो ये है कि जो ये 2014 में जो ये एक कुछ प्रॉब्लम हुई, प्रोटेस्ट हुए, थोड़ी बहुत वायलेंस हुई 2014 में, राइट। सो दैट वाज इन द गारो रीजन, right. The reason behind this disturbance was that Garo people, the reason behind this disturbance was that Garo people demand their separate Garo land. वो अपनी सेपरेट गारो लैंड मांगते हैं, कहते हैं हमें एक सेपरेट स्टेट दे दो. They demand their separate Garo land, right? And one common sentiment which is there in the northeastern states, that sentiment prevails in Meghalaya as well. That sentiment is that many of the people from outside the state, right, enter into the state, and then they, you can say, settle here, right, and that creates burden on the resources of the state, and that is a threat to the entity, language, and culture of the local people as well. So that is a common sentiment which prevails in almost all the states of the northeastern, right? So that common sentiment prevails here also, right? So we can say that the people of Meghalaya are not happy with the outsiders who are living in the state of Meghalaya, right? And they thought that they have occupied their land, they have captured their land, right? So those people thought like that, think like that, right? So in this backdrop, in 2018, in Meghalaya, right, Khasi Sikh riots, right? So took place in Meghalaya. Khasi Sikh riots took place in Meghalaya, right? So the sentiment behind the riots was not that particular thing which you can say triggered the violence on that particular day. The sentiment behind that was that those people are not happy with the outsiders who are living in their state. They thought that, they think that they are possessing their land, right? Basically, what was the problem there? So in a particular community, you can say, where Sikhs were living, right? There one particular day, a Meghalayan state transport bus was parked, or was, you can say, stopped there for picking up the passengers, etc. And where the bus was parked, that was the state, that was the, you can say, place where the people belonging to that Sikh community, right, you can say, fill water from the, you can say, community water tap, etc. right? So वहां से वो पानी भर देते है ना, और वहां जाके उन्होंने बस पार्क कर दी, और उस पॉइंट को लेकर के you can say you can say heated argument was exchanged between a Khasi boy and a Sikh woman, right? And from that, it, you can say, rose to violence, right? And that was highlighted in the news also. That remained common in news columns also, right? And then from Punjab also some teams were sent there to study the situation. What is the situation there? SGPC also sent you can say delegation of there. Even the Punjab Chief Minister Captain Amrinder Singh also intervened at that point of time, right? So because the question was number one, the safety and security of the Sikh people living there, and second was, you can say, Sikh properties like the religious buildings, gurudwaras also in the state, right? So that was the main question. But the main thing remains only that, right? That they are not happy with those who are living from outside, right? And the third, 2020. The reason behind the 2020 protests was the anti CA, Citizenship Amendment Act protests in the state. Anti-Citizenship Amendment Act protests in the state. Right. So here one important point to be noted here, that the nature of anti-CAA protests, right? Anti-CEA protests is quite different. Nature of anti-CEA protests is different from in Northeast, you can see, in Northeast is different from that in the rest of the country. The rest of the country. बेटा इतना तो आपको मालूम होगा कि एंटी-सीएए प्रोटेस्ट पूरे भारत में हुए थे, not only in Northeast.
Yes, sir.
Right, दिल्ली में भी हुए थे. So बेटा इसमें अब हम इसको दो कैटेगरीज में डिवाइड करेंगे. Right. So one category is anti-CEA protest in Northeast, and second category of protests is anti-CEA protests in rest of India. In rest of India, भारत के दूसरे हिस्सों में anti-CEA protest कैसे, right? So as far as the rest of India is concerned, in rest of India, the protesters were mainly against the, right, against the denial of immigrants of one particular community, right, of one particular community, right, from the neighboring countries. One particular community, right, community from the neighboring countries, right, from the neighboring countries, that is Bangladesh, Afghanistan and Pakistan, right? So आपको मालूम होगा कि जो हमारा सिटीजनशिप अमेंडमेंट एक्ट है वो क्या कहता है कि the persons who crossed over into India, the individuals who crossed over into India from Bangladesh, Pakistan, or you can say Afghanistan, right? Among those individuals, the individuals who belong to the Hindu, Jain, right, Sikh, Buddhist, etc. community, those will be allowed citizenship to India, while those who belong to the Islamic community, who are Muslims, those will not be allowed citizenship of India. It is there. आपको मालूम है ना ये?
Yes, sir.
सिटीजनशिप अमेंडमेंट एक्ट में. सो जो रेस्ट ऑफ द कंट्री में जो प्रोटेस्ट हैं, उन प्रोटेस्ट्स के पीछे की वजह क्या है कि एक पर्टिकुलर कम्युनिटी के साथ डिस्क्रिमिनेशन क्यों हो रही है, इससे इंडिया के सेकुलर कैरेक्टर के ऊपर एक क्वेश्चन मार्क लगता है. सो दैट इज व्हाई, राइट, सो हमारा जो लॉ कहता है कि हम डिस्क्रिमिनेशन नहीं करेंगे, हमारा लॉ कहता है राइट टू इक्वालिटी है सभी को. अगर हम बांग्लादेश से आए किसी हिंदू को सिटीजनशिप दे सकते हैं तो हमें मुस्लिम को भी सिटीजनशिप देना चाहिए. वन पॉइंट इज दैट, राइट. सो उनका ये है कि ऐसी डिस्क्रिमिनेशन नहीं होनी चाहिए. ओके. एंड जो नॉर्थ ईस्ट स्टेट के अंदर जो प्रोटेस्ट हैं वो क्या है, उनकी नेचर डिफरेंट है. उनकी डिफरेंट नेचर क्या है, वो कहते हैं कि जो भले मतलब किसी भी रिलीजन का हो, जो बाहर से आया है, जो बांग्लादेश से आया है, इस रीजन में है ना, उसको सिटीजनशिप नहीं देनी चाहिए, राइट। सो इनकी जो एजिटेशन है वो सेक्युलर कैरेक्टर की है, राइट। वो कहते कि देयर शुड, हमें कुछ नहीं मतलब कि वेदर वो मुस्लिम है, वो हिंदू है, वो क्रिश्चियन है, वो कौन है कौन नहीं है, हमें तो सिर्फ इतना है कि अगर वो बांग्लादेश से आया है तो वो इलीगल इमिग्रेंट है, उसको सिटीजनशिप नहीं देनी चाहिए। हमें किसी सिख का मतलब नहीं है, हमें किसी हिंदू का नहीं, हमें किसी क्रिश्चियन का नहीं, हमें किसी मुस्लिम का नहीं है, राइट। उनकी तो सीधी प्रॉब्लम है कि बाहर से लोगों ने आकर के हमारी जमीन पे कब्जा कर लिया है, राइट। वो हमारे नेचुरल रिसोर्सेस में से शेयर ले रहे हैं, वो हमारा कल्चर डिल्यूट कर रहे हैं, वो हमारी लैंग्वेज को थ्रेट पैदा कर रहे हैं, वो हमारी एंटिटी को वो थ्रेट बने हुए हैं। सो दैट इज वाई वो कहते हैं वो कोई भी हो, है ना, अगर वो बाहर से आया है, इलीगल इमिग्रेंट है, तो उसको सिटीजनशिप नहीं मिलनी चाहिए। सो दोनों कंट्री में एंटी सीईए प्रोटेस्ट तो हैं, लेकिन जो एंटी सीईए प्रोटेस्ट नॉर्थ ईस्ट में है उसकी नेचर डिफरेंट है, जो एंटी सीईए प्रोटेस्ट रेस्ट ऑफ द इंडिया में है उसकी नेचर डिफरेंट है। समझ आ गई इस बात की बेटा सभी को?
यस सर।
Yes, sir.
ओके, सो ये बेटा ये एक कॉमन बात है, राइट। सो अब बेटा क्या है, सो 2020 में जो ये प्रोटेस्ट, जो एंटी सीईए प्रोटेस्ट एंड कुछ वायलेंस भी हुई इससे, वो जो प्रोटेस्ट हुई मेघालय में, राइट। सो उन प्रोटेस्ट की नेचर ये वाली नेचर है जो मैंने ओवरऑल नॉर्थ ईस्ट की बात बताई, राइट। ये प्रोटेस्ट मार्च में हुए थे, राइट। सो ये था। अब बेटा मेघालय की जो प्रॉब्लम क्या है, मेघालय के लोग कहते हैं कि नंबर 1, असम में आपने बेटा एनआरसी की प्रैक्टिस की, राइट। असम के अंदर आपने प्रैक्टिस की किस चीज की, एनआरसी की। आपने एनआरसी रिवाइज किया, राइट। आपने नया एनआरसी बना लिया, राइट। इज इट क्लियर भाई, राइट। आपने नया, और जो नया एनआरसी है उसमें से करीब करीब 40 लाख पीपल हैं जो वो आपने छोड़ दिए हैं, जिन्होंने अप्लाई किया था, राइट। अप्रोक्सीमेटली 40 लाख पीपल हैव बीन लेफ्ट, जिन्होंने अप्लाई किया था, ओके। सो वो कहते हैं जो 40 लाख पीपल है, हमें डर है कि ये 40 लाख पीपल अगर इनको असम में सिटीजनशिप ना दी गई तो दोज पीपल में क्रॉस इनटू मेघालय, राइट। अगर वहां प्रॉब्लम आएगी तो वो मेघालय में क्रॉस कर सकती हैं। तो उससे क्या होगा, उससे जो मेघालय के अंदर जो इन लोगों का जो इन्फ्लक्स हो सकता है, इन लोगों की जो यू कैन से माइग्रेशन हो सकती है कुछ लोगों की, राइट। सो दे मे क्रॉस ओवर हियर, दे मे शिफ्ट टू दिस स्टेट, बिकॉज एनआरसी तो मेघालय में है, सॉरी असम में है, एनआरसी मेघालय में नहीं है, सो वो यहाँ आ सकती है। इज इट क्लियर पॉइंट?
यस सर।
ओके ओके ओके। एंड बेटा दूसरा पॉइंट क्या है, वो कहते के मतलब, यस गुरसिमरन टेल मी।
ਸਰ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਜੋ 40 ਲੱਖ ਪੀਪਲ ਨੂੰ ਕਹਤਾ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਿੱਥੋਂ ਆਏ ਆ ਮਤਲਬ ਉੱਥੇ ਜਾਓ, ਤਾਂ ਫਿਰ ਉਹ ਵਾਲੀਆਂ ਜਿੱਥੋਂ ਕੰਟਰੀਜ਼ ਚੋਂ ਆਏ ਆ ਉਹ ਕੰਟਰੀਆਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਅਸੈਪਟ ਕਰਨਗੀਆਂ?
Beta, this is the next question, right? Till then they would not be accepted. They would stay in the refugee camps in our country, right? So this is the next issue. So now the next question is now the next is beta, and Meghalayan people say that you can say if the CEA is implemented in India, अगर इंडिया में सिटीजनशिप अमेंडमेंट एक्ट को इम्प्लीमेंट कर देते हैं, तो वो सिटीजनशिप अमेंडमेंट एक्ट बेटा क्या क्या बोलता है वो कहता है कि बांग्लादेश से जो भी हिंदू, सिख या अदर कम्युनिटीज के मुस्लिम्स को छोड़ के भारत में आएंगे, हम उनको यू कैन से सिटीजनशिप देंगे, है ना। सो कहते हैं कि अगर सिटीजनशिप अमेंडमेंट एक्ट इम्प्लीमेंट होता है तो बांग्लादेश से जो हिंदूज पीपल हैं या बुद्धिस्ट पीपल हैं, दे विल क्रॉस ओवर इनटू इंडिया टू गेट द सिटीजनशिप। कि चलो भारत में तो सिटीजनशिप मिलती है, आसानी से मिलती है, राइट। सो दे विल स्टार्ट क्रॉसिंग ओवर इनटू इंडिया। और जब वो इंडिया में आएंगे तो मेघालय स्टेट मोस्ट वल्नरेबल स्टेट है, राइट। सो सेकेंड इनकी ये प्रॉब्लम है, राइट। सो दिस इज द रीजन बिहाइंड द एंटी-CEA प्रोटेस्ट्स इन मेघालय। मेघालय स्टेट के अंदर जो एंटी-CEA के प्रोटेस्ट्स हैं, उनके पीछे वजह क्या है? उनके पीछे उनको कोई और प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, उनको डर है कि वी हैव बीन सैंडविच्ड बिटवीन द टू। On one side there is Assam, on the second side there is the Bangladesh, right? If the National Register of Citizenship, right, is implemented there, then what will happen? Then the you can say illegal, you can say immigrants who are sitting in, you can say Assam, and who have been denied the citizenship, right, or whose name have not been entered into the National Register of Citizenship, they may cross into Meghalaya. This is the point, right? And second, if the Citizenship Amendment Act is implemented, then you can say it would mean that those people, those you can say Hindu people who are living in Bangladesh, if they cross over into India, then it is easy for them to get citizenship of the country. So then, right, so it would be easier for the Bangladeshis to cross over into India, and they would be accommodated into the country. And if they cross over into India, then the vulnerability of Meghalaya is very much high. Those people may enter into Meghalaya directly. Okay, so these are the two important fears which are there in the minds of the people of Meghalaya. That is why they do protest. They are protesting. Is it clear? This point is clear?
Yes,
Yes, sir.
Okay, right. So now beta basically, right? Now basically, what are they, you can say, demanding basically, right? What are they demanding? So अब उनकी डिमांड क्या है बेटा? एक तो मैंने आपको ये बोल दी कि ये जो गारो रीजन के लोग हैं, चलो इनकी तो एक अपनी सेपरेट डिमांड है। वो कहते हैं कि हमें तो एक सेपरेट गारो लैंड दे दो। वो तो बाद की बात है, कब मिलती है कब नहीं मिलती है। सेकंड एथनिक राइट्स वाली थोड़ी बहुत जैसे एंटी-सिख की बात की है, और थर्ड एंटी-CEA प्रोटेस्ट को लेकर हमने बात की है, राइट। एंड मेघालय के लोग बेटा क्या मांगते हैं? वो कहते हैं कि इनर लाइन परमिट शुड बी इंट्रोड्यूस्ड इन द स्टेट ऑफ मेघालय आल्सो। इनर लाइन परमिट, राइट, which prevents the outsiders from entering into the state without permission, right? Inner line permit बेटा ये है कि जिस स्टेट में इनर लाइन परमिट लागू है, उस स्टेट के बॉर्डर के ऊपर जब आप एंटर करोगे, वहां आपको परमिट शो करना पड़ेगा। आपको दो चीजें शो करनी पड़ेगी। या तो अगर आप स्टेट के रहने वाले हो तो आप डॉक्यूमेंट प्रोड्यूस करो कि मैं इस स्टेट का रहने वाला हूँ, ये स्टेट में एंटर हुआ। मान लीजिए हम अरुणाचल प्रदेश की एग्जांपल ले लेते हैं। अगर आप अरुणाचल प्रदेश में एंटर करते हो तो वहां बॉर्डर पे चेक पोस्ट होगी, वहां आपसे पूछा जाएगा, आपके डॉक्यूमेंट चेक होंगे। अगर आप अरुणाचल प्रदेश के रहने वाले हो तो आपको अरुणाचल प्रदेश का रेजिडेंशियल प्रूफ सबमिट करना होगा, लाइक वोटर कार्ड, आधार कार्ड, कुछ भी हो सकता है आपके पास डॉक्यूमेंट, जो भी वो एक्सेप्ट करते हैं आपको वो करना पड़ेगा, राइट। अगर आप अरुणाचल प्रदेश के रेजिडेंट नहीं हो तो आपको इनर लाइन परमिट लेना पड़ेगा, शो करना पड़ेगा कि हमारे पास ये परमिट है और हम इस परमिट के बेसिस के ऊपर हम स्टेट में एंटर हो रहे हैं, और इतने दिनों का ये परमिट है, हम उतने दिन ही रह पाएंगे स्टेट के अंदर। राइट। उसके बाद हमें वापस आना पड़ेगा, जैसे हम वीजा लेते हैं किसी भी कंट्री में जाने के लिए। सो ये एक तरह का वीजा ही है, यू कैन से, राइट, इनर लाइन परमिट। सो बेटा इससे क्या होता
ਸਰ
है,
ਫਿਰ ਇਹ ਇਨਰ ਲਾਈਨ ਪਰਮਿਟ ਕੌਣ ਦਿੰਦਾ ਹੈ? ਉਹੀ ਸਟੇਟ ਜਿਵੇਂ ਅਰੁਣਾਚਲ
यस
ਪ੍ਰਦੇਸ਼ ਹੀ ਕਿ
यस,
ਕੋਈ ਹੋਰ ਸਰ?
नहीं नहीं बेटा, ये दिस इज इम्प्लीमेंटेड बाय द सेंटर, राइट।
ਓਕੇ
इस यस यस बेटा, इसको सेंटर मंजूर करता है,
ओके
स्टेट की
ओके
रिकमेंडेशन होती है, और ये ठीक है। और इसका जो फिर उसको ग्राउंड लेवल पे इम्प्लीमेंट करना है, वो इम्प्लीमेंट तो फिर उसको स्टेट अथॉरिटीज ही करेगी, ठीक है, स्टेट की पुलिस करेगी ऑब्वियसली,
ओके सर।
राइट। सो बेटा ये होता है इनर लाइन परमिट का जो केस होता है, ठीक है। सो बेटा इनर लाइन परमिट से क्या है कि जो भी यू कैन से, जो भी ऐसे एरियाज हैं, राइट, जहाँ कल्चरल सेंसिटिविटी है, जहाँ एथनिसिटी को थ्रेट है, जहाँ लोगों के अंदर ऐसे सेंटिमेंट्स हैं, तो वहाँ हमने इनर लाइन परमिट स्कीम इंट्रोड्यूस कर दी, सो दैट प्रोटेक्शन दी जा सके बाहर के लोगों से आकर वहाँ सेटल होने से उस स्टेट में। सो ये इनर लाइन परमिट का पर्पस होता है, ओके। सो वो बेटा इनर लाइन परमिट मांगते हैं, राइट। सो वो इनर लाइन परमिट मांगते हैं। आपको मालूम होगा बेटा, इनके अंदर इतना डर है, इतनी सिक्योरिटी का थ्रेट है बेटा, कि 2014 में, आपको शायद पता हो, 2014 में मेघालय वाज कनेक्टेड विद रेलवे, राइट। फर्स्ट रेलवे जो थी वो उसकी इनॉग्रेशन हुई थी मेघालय में, राइट। इन 2014 मेघालय वाज कनेक्टेड बाय रेलवे, राइट। उससे पहले मेघालय में रेलवे नहीं होती थी, राइट। तो 2014 में ही इंट्रोड्यूस की है, राइट। सो 2014 में क्या था कि पहली जो रेलगाड़ी स्टार्ट हुई थी, राइट। सो दैट वाज, यू कैन से, स्टार्टेड फ्रॉम, ये था इसका जो था, ये असम से आती थी, राइट। सो असम में में जिस स्टेशन से ये चलती थी, राइट, उस स्टेशन का नाम है, यू कैन से दैट इज कॉल्ड दुधनोई, DUDHNOI, दुधनोई से ये इधर मेघालय में है स्टेशन, यू कैन से मैंडी पत्थर, राइट, मैंडी पत्थर तक आता, राइट। सो ये वहाँ का एक था कि ये था इसका रूट, राइट। और बेटा इस रूट में से क्या था कि अप्रोक्सीमेटली, राइट, सिर्फ ये 19-20 किलोमीटर का रूट है, राइट। और इसमें से 9 किलोमीटर था असम में, और रेस्ट ऑफ द 10 किलोमीटर अप्रोक्सीमेटली था जो वो मेघालय में था, राइट। उसके बाद बेटा रेलवे लाइन की एक्सटेंशन की बात हुई। जब रेलवे लाइन की एक्सटेंशन की बात हुई स्टेट के अंदर, तो वहां की ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस ने प्रोटेस्ट किए, स्टूडेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस ने प्रोटेस्ट किए। वो कहते कि नहीं, अगर आपने रेलवे को एक्सपेंड करना है तो पहले आप स्टेट के अंदर इनर लाइन परमिट इंट्रोड्यूस करो, अदरवाइज द रेलवे वुड बी यूज्ड एज ए मीडियम, राइट, फॉर ट्रांसपोर्टिंग द पीपल टू द स्टेट ऑफ मेघालय। रेल कहाँ से आएगी? असम से आएगी, और असम के अंदर जो इलीगल माइग्रेंट्स हैं वो वहां से रेल पे सवार होके यहाँ आ जाएंगे, राइट। सो रेलवे वो कहते मिस यूज हो सकती है। सो दैट इज वाई अगर आपको रेलवे की एक्सपेंशन करनी है तो पहले आप इनर लाइन परमिट इंट्रोड्यूस करो। सो दिस शोज दैट व्हाट इज द एप्रीहेंशन, व्हाट इज द डिग्री ऑफ एप्रीहेंशन ऑफ दोज पीपल, राइट। वो कहाँ तक एप्रीहेंसिव है बेटा, वो जो लोग हैं, राइट, वो उनके अंदर इतना फियर है कि वो रेलवे लाइन की एक्सपेंशन के लिए भी नहीं परमिट कर रहे लोग, राइट। तो अदरवाइज तो एक डेवलपमेंट का बेटा काम होता है ना, तो लोग इसको वेलकम करते हैं, वो इसको भी नहीं कर रहे। और बेटा रिसेंट पास्ट में मेघालय की लेजिस्लेटिव असेंबली ने एक रेजोल्यूशन पास करके सेंटर को रिक्वेस्ट की है for the implementation of the inner line permit in the state, but till date it is not there, it does not prevail there in the state, right? So inner line permit हमने पहले भी बोला है कि ये 4 स्टेट्स में है, अरुणाचल प्रदेश में है, ये असम में है, नागालैंड में है एंड मिजोरम, राइट? सो ये वहाँ है, सो मेघालय में नहीं है। मेघालय के लोग चाहते हैं कि इनर लाइन परमिट इंट्रोड्यूस करो, अगर इनर लाइन परमिट इंट्रोड्यूस होगा तो देन इट इज ओके, अगर ये इंट्रोड्यूस नहीं होगा तो फिर हमें प्रॉब्लम है, राइट? सो ये मेघालय के लोग हैं जो बेटा ये यू कैन से चाहते हैं। इज इट क्लियर अप टू दिस पॉइंट बेटा?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I hope, right. So beta, this is about the problem in Meghalaya. मेघालय में ओवरऑल पीस है, ओवरऑल ऐसी कोई एथनिक वायलेंस की कोई बहुत बड़ा इशू नहीं है, जैसे हमने मणिपुर में देखा, मेघालय में देखा, सॉरी असम में देखा, वैसा इशू नहीं है। कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स हैं, जैसे गारो रीजन की प्रॉब्लम है, डिस्टर्बेंस है NTCEA को लेकर के, है ना? यस, बट यू कैन से वन थिंग इज क्लियर दैट द रिस्क ऑफ ethnic problems, ethnic violence, ethnic insurgency in the state of Meghalaya is high in future, because जैसे हम एक टेंडेंसी देख रहे हैं, टेंडेंसी बन रही है ना? गारोज आर डिमांडिंग देयर सेपरेट लैंड, राइट? 2018 में खासी से क्रॉइट्स का होना, 2020 में NTCEA प्रोटेस्ट का होना, ये देखते हुए कि बाहर के लोग हमारी स्टेट में ना घुस आए, राइट? इनर लाइन परमिट का मांगना, इट मीन्स दोज पीपल आर ट्राइंग टू रेस्ट्रिक्ट देमसेल्व्स, दोज पीपल आर ट्राइंग टू restrict themselves in the, you can say, interest of their resources, in the interest of their culture, ethnicity, language, etc., etc. So that is why, if that sentiment is prevailing there, that Meghalaya is my state, so then obviously in the days to come, right, I may pick the weapon also to expel you from my state, because if I am thinking that, you can say, this is my state, this is not your state, then in future I may force you to you can say leave my state, right? And when I will force you to leave my state, then you can say the reaction will be there, right? And if the reaction happens there, then it may lead to ethnic violence in the state. So though today it is not that a big issue, but in the days to come, the issue may raise its ugly head, right? And may disturb the state in the days to come. So that is why whatever the issues at present are there, at the very basic level, the government should try to address those issues, should consider the voice of the Meghalayan people, should listen the voice of the Meghalayan people, and should do whatever it can do within the constitutional limitations, right? So that those people may be pacified at the very initial stage, right? Before it, you can say, outbursts, right, and become out of control, as we have seen in the state of Assam, as we have seen in the state of Punjab also in the past, right, as we have seen in the state of Jammu Kashmir also, which is almost out of control of the government of India, right, as we have seen in the state of Manipur also, Nagaland also. So the problems better should be addressed when they start raising their head, right? So this is good time for the government of India to listen to the people, right? To you can say show those people, to realize those people that government is taking their concerns very seriously, and to do something constructively, right? Uh, that is important for the unity and integrity of the country also, right? And for the development of the country also, for the poverty alleviation also, because जब हम छोटी छोटी प्रॉब्लम्स को हम समय पे एड्रेस नहीं करते तो वो प्रॉब्लम्स बड़ी हो जाती हैं, फिर वो कई बार वो नक्सलिज्म का रूप ले जाती है, कई बार फिर वो टेररिज्म का रूप ले जाती है, राइट? कई बार एथनिक कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स की फॉर्म में आ जाती है वो, मतलब किसी उसकी बहुत सारी मैनिफेस्टेशंस हो जाती हैं। तो फिर डिस्ट्रक्शन होती है, कंस्ट्रक्शन रुकती है, प्रोडक्शन रुकती है, राइट? यू कैन से नॉन प्रोडक्टिव एक्सपेंडिचर इंक्रीज होता है, इन्फ्लेशन आती है, लोगों को घरों में रहना पड़ता है, एम्प्लॉयमेंट चली जाती है, राइट? एंड फिर स्टेट वर्सेस रेजिडेंट्स कॉन्फ्लिक्ट होते हैं, राइट? एंड फिर वहाँ आर्म्ड फोर्सेस को डिप्लॉय करना पड़ता है, फिर वहाँ के बच्चे, वहाँ की जो औरतें हैं, फिर उनको झेलना पड़ता है, जैसे हम बहुत जगह पे इंसिडेंट्स देखते हैं कैसे होते हैं, उनको झेलना पड़ता है, बहुत सारी लोगों की जानें चली जाती हैं, फिजिकल प्रॉपर्टी के लॉस होते हैं, कंट्री की इंटेग्रिटी को थ्रेट होता है, और कंट्री और पॉवर्टी में चला जाता है। So that is why this is wise to address the problems at their very basic stage, right? So this is about Meghalaya state today. Apart from this, let us discuss one, two important points. So Meghalaya is such a state which is almost entirely under the, we can say, autonomous district councils, right? आपको मालूम है 6th schedule के अंदर there is provision of autonomous district councils, you know, in 6th schedule of the
Yes, sir.
constitution, in 6th schedule of the constitution, right? There is provision for autonomous district councils in right, autonomous district councils. So that is the right. So ये जो हम autonomous district councils की बात करते हैं बेटा, so there are we can say 3 autonomous district councils in Meghalaya under the 6th schedule, right? There are 3 autonomous district councils in Meghalaya. Under Schedule 8 of the Constitution. Under Schedule 8 of the Constitution. Sorry, Schedule 6 of the Constitution. Right. So the 3 autonomous district council in the state are, one is the Khasi Hill Autonomous District Council. Khasi Hill Autonomous District Council. And the second is beta Garo Hills Autonomous District Council. Garo Hills Autonomous District Council. Right. And the third is beta Gentia Hills Autonomous District Council. Gentia Hills Autonomous District Council. That is the third here. autonomous district council, right? So ये 3 autonomous district councils हैं, and except, right, except some area, except some area, right? Except we can say some area near the some area in Shillong, we can say like that. So, right, some area in Shillong. The entire state is under Schedule 6. Right? The entire state is under Schedule 6. So पूरी की पूरी state वो Schedule 6 के अंदर है, right? Schedule 6, right? So we can say, so there there you can say the autonomous district councils are formed, right? Which take care of the local governance, right? Autonomous district councils are formed, which take care of the local governance. So local governance का ध्यान रखती है, right? So that is there, right? So इसमें क्या है बेटा कि हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के आर्टिकल 243 में लिखा हुआ है, 243 is related with the part 9 related with the पंचायत, ठीक है? So उसमें बेटा क्या लिखा हुआ है बेटा कि वो जो हमारे जो मैंडेटरी पंचायत की प्रोविजन है, that shall not be applicable to areas which are under the administration, right, or according to the Schedule 6 of the Constitution. So जो autonomous districts जो, right, या जो areas autonomous district councils के अंदर हैं 6 शेड्यूल के अंदर, तो वहां पर पंचायत की जो प्रोविजन है, राइट, जो हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन की जो आर्टिकल सॉरी शेड्यूल कौन सी है वो, टेल मी।
11th सर।
यस यस, जो हमारे 11th शेड्यूल जो नहीं 12th म्यूनिसिपैलिटी के लिए, ठीक है, जो हमारे जो पंचायत के वाली जो 11th शेड्यूल है, that will not be applicable there, right? In those areas where the autonomous district councils prevail, where the governance is run by the autonomous district councils, where the local governance is looked after by the autonomous district councils. So beta, it is not mandatory there in those areas. So it means जो पंचायती राज provisions हैं, those are not applicable to the areas administered under the 6th schedule of the Constitution. So bear this in mind. This is very important, right? Point, right? So because this is very important point, right? So now the little thing is there that, so then what are the functions of these autonomous district councils? What do the autonomous district councils do? Right? Do number 1, making laws on land. ये land से related law बनाती है, पहली बात, right? Number 2, management of forests. Management of forests, except the reserve forest. Reserve forest को छोड़ के जो बाकी forest हैं, इनकी ये management करती है local level पे. Right, management of forest except the reserve forest. This is the second point. And तीसरा है appointment of traditional chiefs. अपने जो chief हैं वो उनको appoint करती है. Right, appointment of traditional chiefs. Right, traditional chiefs etc. headmen जो हैं उनको ये appoint करते हैं. Right, and then all matters related with the inheritance, right? All matters related with the inheritance, right? Inheritance of property, related with the inheritance of property, right? Marriage, right? Inheritance of property, marriage, divorce, and social customs, etc. Those are, you can say, taken care of, or those are addressed by the autonomous district councils. Means these are the local issues ना, किसी का मैरिज से रिलेटेड इशू है, किसी का कोई डिवोर्स से रिलेटेड मैटर है, क्योंकि उसको ये लोग अपने लोकल कस्टम्स के अकॉर्डिंग करते हैं ना, राइट? क्योंकि हर एक सोसाइटी का एक अपना तरीका है, राइट? सो अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट, राइट? सो नेक्स्ट स्टेप इट है टू एडमिनिस्टर जस्टिस. ये लोग जस्टिस एडमिनिस्टर करते हैं, टू एडमिनिस्टर जस्टिस and make rules for the constitution of village codes, right? For the constitution of village codes, right? And their powers. ये village codes appoint करते हैं, constitute करते हैं, उनकी पावर्स डिटरमिन करते हैं अपनी सोसाइटी के कायदे के अकॉर्डिंग, राइट? एंड द राइट नेक्स्ट है टू एडमिनिस्टर द डेवलपमेंट वर्क्स, राइट? in their area, right? In their area, अपने एरिया में जो डेवलपमेंट वर्क्स हैं उनको देखते हैं, राइट? एंड टू मेक रेगुलेशन ऑन ट्रेडिंग बाय पर्सन्स नॉट बीइंग लोकल्स, राइट? टू मेक regulations on trading by persons, right? Who are outsiders or not being local tribes, right? Not being local tribes, local scheduled tribes, right? So उनको protect करने के लिए है ये सब कुछ बनाया गया, जो outsiders, right? Now the main sources of revenue of the ADCs are, ADCs को फिर revenue कहाँ से मिलती है? The main revenue sources of ADCs, इनको revenue कहाँ से मिलता है, right? ADCs include number 1 taxes on profession पे taxes लगाते हैं, किसी ने कोई काम करना है उसके ऊपर taxes लगाते हैं, profession, trade, right? profession, trade, callings and employment. तो वो ऐसे टैक्सेस लगा लेते हैं, छोटे मोटे होते हैं, राइट? कॉलिंग्स एंड एम्प्लॉयमेंट, राइट? एंड दूसरी चीज है टैक्सेस ऑन एनिमल व्हीकल एंड बोट्स, टैक्सेस ऑन एनिमल व्हीकल्स एंड बोट्स, जो लोकल टैक्सेस होते हैं छोटे छोटे, सो वो वाली टैक्स लगा देते हैं, एंड बोट्स. सो ये है जो हमारे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन में लिखा हुआ है कि ये उनकी पावर्स हो सकती हैं, राइट? तीसरा है टैक्सेस ऑन एंट्री ऑफ गुड्स, taxes on entry of goods into a market and sale, right? And sale therein, right? Sale therein, and tolls on passengers and goods carried on ferries, जो ferries के ऊपर आप पैसेंजर जो गुड्स को कैरी करके लेके जाते हो उसके ऊपर भी टैक्स लगाती है ऑटोनोमस डिस्ट्रिक्ट काउंसिल, राइट? ऑन फेयर्स, राइट? सो नेक्स्ट है टैक्सेस ऑन right? Taxes on maintenance of taxes for maintenance of schools, right? Dispensaries or roads, right? Schools, dispensaries or roads. So ये common cause है, इनके लिए भी taxes लगा सकती है. So ये इनके छोटे छोटे जो हैं जो इनको दिए गए हैं, राइट. सो बाकी रेस्ट इनका जो सोर्स होता है दैट इज द ग्रांट बाय द स्टेट्स. स्टेट से जो ग्रांट मिलती है वो भी इनके कुछ छोटे छोटे सोर्सेस होते हैं, राइट. सो ग्रांट्स फ्रॉम द स्टेट्स, राइट. सो these are basically the we can say the sources of revenue of these states, right. सो मेघालय के अंदर एक और चीज है अर्बन लोकल बॉडीज. सो वो जो अर्बन लोकल बॉडीज है मेघालय की वो भी शेड्यूल 12 के अंदर नहीं आती, क्योंकि दोज अर्बन लोकल बॉडीज आर कॉन्स्टिट्यूटेड अंडर द यू कैन से मेघालय म्यूनिसिपल एक्ट 1973 जो पहले का बना हुआ है, राइट. अर्बन लोकल बॉडीज आर कॉन्स्टिट्यूटेड अंडर मेघालय Municipal Act 1973, right. So under this, the urban local bodies have been empowered to authorized to levy certain taxes, right, as well as
सर एक्ट का नाम रिपीट कर दो. अंडर मेघालय
Municipal Act,
Okay, sir.
MUNICAPA, right?
Thank you, sir.
Meghalaya Municipal Act 1973, right? So according to that, the urban local bodies are constituted, and the urban local bodies can levy some taxes, and they can raise revenue, raise income from the non-tax sources as well, right? So that is there. That is not as much important to discuss here. So this is all about the Meghalaya state, right? So I hope this is clear to you, right? So entire Meghalaya state about
Yes, sir. Very deeply we have discussed everything.
so